thing I know about you is that you have ambition to be great. My job is to coach you to get all that greatness out of you.
What is good, Fin Nation? What's good? It's your boy Reason, and we are back here for yet another one. I hope everyone is enjoying their long weekend. I know out in the U.S., you guys are celebrating President's Day. Out in Canada, it is Family Day right now. I hope each and every one of you had a good long weekend with all of your loved ones, your friends, and whatever you did this weekend. I hope it was good. You know, first weekend in a long time without football, right? So it was a tough weekend for us all, that's for sure. But thank God, we're used to weekends in the playoffs without football as Dolphin fans. And we had the coaching search to help us along there. But now we reach a little bit of a, I guess what you could call a lull point in the season right now as it stands. Currently, obviously, it's February 21st, and that means the legal tampering window, which does not open until I believe the 14th of March, which is a Monday. So that means we're about 21 days away from the legal tampering window opening in free agency in the NFL. So that gives us something to look forward to. Shout out to Fred for the $3.99 super sticker. Appreciate you. Everyone coming through, fins up, appreciate y'all. I do gotta have a little bit of a rant here, and I'll show you. Obviously, I will show you guys, um, the training videos in question, but I do gotta get out here, and I do gotta see this. No, Hammer, I actually didn't see your Twitter post, bro. I'm not on Twitter like I used to be. It's so toxic, Like I do my thing, I say my piece, and I get out, really. And I DM people, and that's basically it. So I don't get it. You know what I mean? Like I've talked about this before, how, you know, people wake up and they get out of bed and they're already waiting to take victory laps on a coach that hasn't, coached one game, about him failing. You got people waiting in the wing just to, they'd put themselves being right and running a victory lap over Tua failing, as opposed to really as opposed to him being successful, because then that means our franchise is successful. And when our franchise is successful, that would basically mean that we're winning. And people want to put their own agendas in place of that. And I mean, I get it. Hey, people they got things they got to do. They got clicks they got to get, and they got, attention they need to seek. I get all that. But now we're at a stage where, Perform, shout out to the homie Nick Hicks. They're coming out and they are, they're dropping their videos showing love to Tua and such. And, they're starting to show the training videos, and there's already people out here. It's the same people that were complaining that he golfs in his off time. Now that his, his training center and his trainer is putting out videos about him getting to work. I mean, now what? Now we got to hate on that. Like, I just don't get it, man. It's like literally like people are showing where they're truly at and their true colors. It's like I'm seeing it on Twitter all day, and it's like it's ridiculous, man. I don't get it. Y'all bitch when he golfs, but then you bitch when someone puts out footage of him trying to get better in training. Like, tell me what you want. Right? And I saw this Joe Burrow quote floating around. And remember, it's not Tua putting out the footage, it's his trainer and Perform. Tua doesn't even run his own Instagram and Twitter accounts. Like it's not even Tua doing this. Tua don't even retweet that stuff. Like Tua doesn't even interact with that kind of stuff. And, it's good for Perform and it's good for business, and that's how they can show what they do with their athletes, and they've got a lot of high quality athletes coming in there right now. So I just don't understand. We went from, oh, he golfs too much to, oh, why are they putting out training videos? I don't want to see this. Show it on the field, blah, 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 blah. Well, I mean, what do you want then? Like, the disdain and the hate for this kid is so deep in our own fan base that literally, people used to mock him, and like literally with the whole thing with the golf thing is, oh, he needs to be training, he needs to be getting better in his off time. So then his trainer puts out videos of him trying to get better in his off time. Oh, I don't want to see videos. Do people understand how hypocritical they sound and how contradictory they are of their own points? Like, does this even process in these people's minds? Like, if we come to that stage of fanhood and fandom and that stage of ignorance where you don't even realize when you're like disproving your own point and just showing an agenda and downright hate for someone, like it's unbelievable. I want, like, actually, the people that are on Twitter or wherever doing this, step back and think about how dumb you look. Like, actually think about it. I just don't get it. You bitch when he's golfing, then he needs to be getting better. Then his trainer, not Tua, his trainer puts out videos of him working harder to get better, and we still got a problem with it. It's got to be one or the other. I really don't get it. Like, and it's not September. Hell, it's not even August in preseason. It's not like we can have game footage coming out right now. What do you expect supposed to be coming out right now? Someone tell me this. What do you expect is supposed to be coming out right now? I'm happy that, if you want my honest opinion, I could give a shit about the drills that are being run. I'm just happy that it's February 21st. It's about what? 7 months since open till open, 6.5, 7 months till kickoff. And my quarterback's already putting in work to get better for the 2022 season. I mean, you tell me. Like, I'm just happy that, we're almost 7 months until the regular season starts and he's already getting to work. He's already putting in the work to get better. And he hasn't even gotten the playbook from Mike McDaniel yet. So, South Florida Dawn, $4.99. I just started blocking all these idiots. I'm not arguing with morons anymore. That's why these people need to be, That's the thing. People wonder why I blocked them on Twitter. Scotty, does Tua have the playbook yet? I would assume that the playbook has not even been finalized yet. If you want my opinion of when they get the playbook, I would think probably sometime in March. I don't think it's been finalized. I don't think it's been put together totally yet with his staff. His staff just got finalized. I would say the playbook is going to be available in March. So I would expect the playbook to be out and be available in March. Fake Spike, they want reason in the end to be wrong about drafting Tua, but we can't be. Our evaluation, he's already proven he's a competent NFL starter. So he's already shown you he's a starter in the NFL. And now the question that remains is, what's his ceiling as a starter in the NFL? So technically, we're already right. It's now just about his ceiling. And since he's played, I mean, you can try and find the receipt. I've never called Tua Tagovailoa a franchise quarterback. If you go back to the month of November, I said he looked like he was worth investing in because if you build around him, he may be a franchise quarterback for you. That's the farthest I've gone. So, I mean, it is what it is, man. But I just don't get it. I mean, let's be honest with ourselves. Like, this kid is putting in work. Y'all hated when he was golfing, but now it's an issue. It's like, why? So someone tell me this, why? I just don't understand how people get up in the morning and like, man, I'm gonna tell you this right now because there's people in spaces, there's people on the timeline. All these people who like talk to me about me when I'm not around and stuff like that on Twitter or on YouTube or whatever platform. Listen, when I get off this show and when I do my thing, I live my life, man. Like all these people out here that have no lives and all they do is they blah 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 blah. And we all know in person it would be real quiet. And then they do the same thing to like the quarterback and stuff. It's ridiculous. And what's funny is, where's the Austin Jackson hate? Like, people think people make excuses for Tua, but people are actually out here making legitimate excuses for Austin Jackson. Austin Jackson has given you nothing at the NFL level to hang your hat on. Nothing. Go back to the 2019 draft class. Tua is one of only 3 quarterbacks with a winning record. And hint, hint, Joe Burrow is not one of them right now. You look at his completion percentage right now. Listen, is Tua perfect? No, Tua's got a lot that still needs to be worked on. But compared to guys like Noah Benogany, Austin Jackson, Solomon Kinley, Curtis Weaver ain't even in the league right now, and y'all even know I was high on him. I took that one on the chin. Like, this is what I'm sitting here saying. Noah Benogany and Austin Jackson can have, like, you can legitimately tag the bus label to them if you wanted to right now. Tua Tagovailoa, you cannot tag a bus label to. So why don't these people spend enough time talking about upgrading over those guys? Do you know how key a left tackle is? Left tackle, top 3 most important position on the offense. Quarterback, center, left tackle would probably be the top 3 most important positions on the offense. But no one wants to talk about that. No one wants to talk about how Dieter wasn't really an upgrade over Ted Karras, right? No one wants to talk about that. But everyone said, oh, we can upgrade the quarterback. But no one wants to, which, hey, if you can upgrade any position in the NFL, you do. But people seem to lose that. It turns from you should upgrade any position available to, well, you should only upgrade the quarterback. Like I've heard people make excuse for Dieter and continuity. He needs to stick around and we shouldn't get a free agent. What? Go ask how Justin Herbert, how that just worked in Los Angeles when they just signed Corey Linsley and he just got named an All-Pro and a Pro Bowler in his first year with Justin Herbert. Why would you pass up on Ryan Jensen, arguably the best zone blocking center in the NFL right now, who's worked with guys like Tom Brady? Why would you pass that up for Michael Dieter to get another chance? Stop this right now. Like Taron Armstead, there's a legit upgrade out there right now for Austin Jackson. Whether you want to have him at left guard or left tackle, I can give you guards or tackles to upgrade on right now. Liam Eichenberg, et cetera, et cetera. No one want to talk about all this, though. It's just, let's talk about the quarterback. Let's talk about the quarterback. No, man. When you look at, if you were to take a top 10 list of things wrong with the offense, Tua isn't even in the top, from last year, Tua isn't even in the top 5. And if you actually think he's in the top 5, you either A, don't know football, or B, you have an agenda at play. Take your pick. And again, this is coming from a guy who I was as objective could be last year. When he won against the Giants and had almost an 80% completion percentage, I still noticed accuracy issues, called them when people were still pushing back. That 3-game stretch where he was awful and underwhelming, week 15, 16, and 17, called it right down the middle. But here's the difference. I know what I'm looking at. There's people out here trying to convince you that because they have a Twitter handle or they have a microphone that they actually know what they're talking about when they don't. And that's the reality of things. Hammer, $5, speaking facts, big talk, big dog. Hey, man, it is what it is. Like, guys, just because you saw Reason do film breakdowns and such doesn't mean that everyone has the ability to do that. Now, I know people might be trying to pass off that, whether, again, you go on Twitter or YouTube, wherever that they do. That's fine. But when I see people, they can't even identify coverages properly, distinguish RPOs from play actions, but they're trying to say that, they know what they're talking about. Okay, bro. You might be able to sell bullshit to the naive, but you can't sell the bullshit to me and the people that I've educated out here. That's just the fact of the matter. That's just the way it is. And that goes for Facebook, that goes for Twitter, that goes for YouTube. Take your pick. If the shoe fits, I'm going to say with that stuff, wear it. Because here's the thing. I started this channel to educate and to inform our fans properly. Do you know how much time I have to spend cleaning up people's messes of misinforming? Because they don't know what they're talking about. But again, they think they have a Twitter handle or a Facebook page or a microphone, whether that be podcasting or YouTubing, whatever. And they think because they have one of those things, all of a sudden they know what they're talking about. Well, it doesn't work like that. And I got to waste my time basically putting out counterintelligence, and I'm the only one with intelligence when I'm countering it. It's ridiculous. Like, again, I'm watching this whole Tua training video thing unfold, and I'm like, all you guys bitched about when he was golfing. Now you're bitching that his trainer's putting out videos of him putting in work 6.5, 7 months before the season started. Like, choose one. Choose one. It's ridiculous. It's unbelievable. I swear to God. Unbelievable. Unreal, man. So, I don't know. I sit back and I watch this, and it's like, first of all, I don't know how people can waste their time on Twitter the way they do, on Facebook the way they do, or on all these multiple different platforms the way they do, let alone waste your time being misinformed and misguided. Because the first thing that should tell you something is wrong with anyone is if they label context as excuses. Because that tells you they have no journalistic integrity or no journalistic background. I mean, I said this before. I've said this dozens and dozens of times because I took journalism. I also took marketing after that. All right. So in journalism, the fundamental of any article, anything you do, or any argument you try to make, or whatever, is the who, what, when, where, why, how. Everything that happens for a reason. Funny enough, play on words. To just take everything at face value as this is what it is, instead of explaining why this is what it is. See, there's a difference. People say, oh, this is what it is. No. Why is this that way? Why is this that? Tell me. Give me the context. And then when you start asking for context and people can't deliver it, that's when you start finding out who really, really knows what they're talking about. Shout out to George for becoming a new member. I appreciate you, man. So, listen. 2022 is no mercy season for a reason. If you say dumb shit, if you do dumb things, if you speak out of your depth, pocket, or knowledge, and you're too prideful and too egotistical to admit you're out of either one of those things, I'm coming for you. I'm done playing games. When my birthday hit, I changed. I'm done, man. I see it on Twitter. I see it on YouTube. I see it on Facebook. I'm done playing patty cake. I'm done. You want to be objective? No problem. But if you're going to be subjective and push agendas, there's going to be issues. I'm done. Like, literally, no more Mr. Nice Guy. Seriously. I'm tired of these people thinking just because they got a mic, just because they got a Twitter handle, or just because they got a Facebook page or an Instagram account, that means they know what they're talking about. No. Prove it. Because I'm going to tell you something real. This is the realest shit you're going to ever learn. You know why I don't fuck with a lot of you, and you know why I don't watch a lot of you, you know why I don't listen to a lot of you, you know why I don't read a lot of your tweets or interact with a lot of your tweets? Because 99% of you could never teach me a thing about football. So why am I going to waste my time? Until only those that are knowledgeable, worth my time, I can learn something from or take something away from, whether it be from a tweet, a YouTube video, a Facebook post, a DM, a text message, a phone call. Those are the only people worth my time. Those are the only people worth my time. And all of y'all that ain't got nothing to teach me and nothing to offer me, I'm not going to waste my time. I'm really not going to. Because I'm just sick and tired of it. I watch all these different, some of these people, you know what disgusts me the most about this is the lack of consistency on whatever platform you're going to go on. Whether it be Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, the amount of flip-floppers. Y'all flip-flop more than a bunch of sandals on the beach. Just flip-flop like a bunch of sandals on the beach. That's all you guys do. It's ridiculous, man. Like, y'all go with the wind, and it's like, it's ridiculous, man. Much easier to be negative than lazy takes. That's the thing, too, man. Watch these people trying to talk about some of our new coaches or, you know, whatever, and they don't even know these people's background. They don't even know what they're talking about. But they're just, instead of, admitting they don't know anything, they got to give an opinion, even though they don't know anything about the guy. And I've seen it again on every platform, and I'm like, why? Like, just why? It's ridiculous, man. I'm gonna tell you this right now, and this goes to Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Pride, when you're out of your depth, is always going to bury you. It's always going to bury you, no matter what you do. Sooner or later, it will catch up. And like, I've even seen people like talking about Watson and stuff again. It's like, yo, I hate to be the one to tell you. Watson is not happening. If you want a name to watch, if Tua flames out, I'm telling you right now, it's Lamar Jackson. That's the name to watch. Watch. It's all about Lamar Jackson right now. And I'm telling you that right now. So, I mean, that's the name. If you really want to watch, that's the name really worth watching. That's the name worth watching over this season. I'm telling you. And I want nothing to do with Lamar Jackson. Deshaun Watson is not going to be a Dolphin. They are going to roll with Tua for this season, whether y'all like it or not. And anyone telling you different is going to be made to look wrong in the end. I'm telling you right now, the best chance anyone who does not want Tua to be the starter next year is they draft a guy on day 2 or day 3, and that guy comes into camp and outperforms Tua. Get him, Brody. I'm tired of these dingle dorks too. They need to stop feeding bullshit gate. Go do the work like you do. Common sense isn't common. I appreciate you, Wayne D. That's what it is, man. Like, funny enough, to come to a lot of the conclusions I do, I use logic and reason. It's gonna take you far. I'm telling you. And people dropping names, like I said, man. I ain't talking to anyone specific. This is a general blanket statement. But if you listen to it and you thought the shoe fit you while you were listening to it and you took that personally, well then that's on you. That's a blanket statement. That's for Twitter. All that was for Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, whatever platform you want. And smash that like button. Because I'm going to tell you another thing. The worst thing that could ever happen to all these people is once your boy hits 10K and gets over 10K, let's go, baby. Once I hit 10K and get over 10K, oh boy. Whoo! Then we really gonna get to it, baby. That's when we really gonna get to it. All right? Not only am I gonna do a massive giveaway, but uh-oh. We're going to shake the world when I get to 10K because it's only going to be up from there. I'm going to tell you that right now. So, anyways, enough of that. Enough hype. Topher, you have a lot of haters for preaching facts. Well, buddy, you know what's the funny? You know what I love about this? Let's talk about the haters. The haters still watch me. The haters still talk about me. The haters, by watching me, still put money in my pocket. And the haters still talk about things I talk about. So tell me who's winning. Tell me who's winning. See, here's the thing. What you see on here is what you're going to get when we do our meetups. for training camp and regular season this year. What you see on here is what you get live and direct in person. I know. Again, let's talk about Twitter. Let's talk about Facebook, Instagram, wherever someone can be behind a screen and have the safety of a screen. I know a lot of people aren't like that, aren't built the same way that they portray on Twitter, wherever. I just keep it a buck. If you like me, you like me. If you don't, you don't. I'm not meant to be everyone's taste. No one is. No one's perfect. No one is everyone's taste. Dudley's one of the nicest guys in the world, and there's people that hate on Dudley for no apparent reason. So I'm not here to please everyone. I'm here to please the people that want to be educated, informed, and who enjoy what I put out, and to continue to grow that. And I got bigger things. I'm telling you guys, we're about to hit a rebranding that's going to blow y'all socks off, because I'm never stopping. I put back into this channel because I want to take it to the next level, and we are going to take it to the next level in 2022. Mark my words. That's what I've been dealing with. My birthday weekend, I was dealing with this rebranding, trying to figure some stuff out, man. So, because it's going down. I'm invested in bringing you guys the best experience possible as Dolphin fans. The watch, mister. Keep being you, boo-boo. Every time someone says boo-boo, appreciate the $20 donation. Every time someone says that, I think of Cat Williams. Rome says, Reason's my type of guy, cool as fuck, and not for everybody. He has his depth. I'm the same, cool as fuck, but I'll let motherfuckers know what's up, and I know my football. That's the thing. Here's the thing. My wife gives me crap all the time. I have no filter. I just have no filter. Like, I think I've told this story before. I'll tell it quick again. The first time I ever had Chick-fil-A, we were in Orlando and we're coming back from Disney Springs, and we wanted to get Chick-fil-A. And it was my daughter. It was in 2019. It was before COVID hit. Back when Slim Reason was running these streets. Before COVID hit. And we were down there and I'm going to get into the news here in a sec. And it was right after COVID. I'm sorry, it was right before COVID. It was April 2019. Yeah, it was April 2019. And because my kid was like 11 months, right? So it was the first time we ever had Chick-fil-A. I think I've told this story before. But I'm telling you, I am who I am. This is just to prove to you who I am. This is not a brag. This is not... Anyways, quick story. First time I ever had Chick-fil-A, and some people who have been backstage have heard this story, was in Orlando. So we're coming back from Disney Springs. We stopped to go get Chick-fil-A. All right? This is just who I am. I'm sorry. All right? And we go, and we have to go get gas in the rental. All right. So we go in to get gas, and I go to put the credit card in to pay at the pump, right? Because we have one of those international credit cards where, we can, whatever, a Visa, we can pay in US, and they'll just convert it to Canadian, to a Canadian cost for us. So I kept doing it. It wouldn't accept it. So I had to walk all the way into this place, and I was starving. Like, I just wanted to pay and get out. All right? And Rhino's telling me to stop right now. Rhino, I'm not going to tell him everything. And let's just put it this. Reason was not in a good mood. Reason went in to the into the gas station pretty hot. I went in pretty hot, me and the guy behind the counter ended up having a disagreement. Now, at the time, I was like 5'11. I was doing CrossFit all the time at this time. So I was about like 205, 210. And so this guy was maybe like 5'9-ish, and he was probably like a $180. And anyways, long story short, I got so mad and I got to such a place, I wasn't really thinking. And, it slipped my mind that I was currently in a carry state, let's call it, right? So, an open carry state. I did not realize I was in an open carry state. Now, nothing was pulled on me, nothing like that. Like, I didn't get anything. It was after the fact, after I had left, after I dealt with the situation, after I got my Chick-fil-A. My wife said to me, like, got to be a little bit more careful. This is an open carry state. And it didn't even process. But that's just because someone pissed me off. I went to my place and it didn't even process. I was just ready to deal, react, and get through with it. All right. So, what you see is what you get on YouTube. I am not one of these fallacies out here. So, what you see is what you get. All right. Straight up. So, and that was the first time I ever had Chick-fil-A. Needless to say, the sandwich was fantastic, but I found it very odd that they had people standing outside with with like a notepad and a pen when it's a drive-through. Isn't the whole thing supposed to be, I don't know, you stay inside because it's a drive-through? Maybe I didn't know. Yeah, concealed weapon carries. Yeah. Rhino's right. I'm not going to get into the whole story, but let's just say that, I got so heated and was ready to deal with everything. And it didn't even occur to me till well after the fact that, I was about to get into, I got into some serious stuff with, I could have been pulled out on at any moment. I didn't even think about it. But let me think about this. I mean, now I will think about it. Let me know. Anyways, that's just to tell you, I am who I am. What you see is what you get with me. I'm not one of these like people on Twitter that's gonna, you know, Ryan 45687388910. That's just gonna talk a bunch of smack to you, right? Just not one like Big O. I think Big O is exactly what you get. Who you see is what you get. Doug is what you see, what you get on. I talk to him all the time. You know what I mean? Um, I'll say both EM and TD are definitely not as animated when you talk to them personally as they are on screen. That's for sure. Um, you know, and there's some people on Twitter that, they're just major trolls, but they're totally different, down to earth people when you talk to them. So it goes all different ways, right? So, just a lot of different variety and a lot of different personalities, but just make sure you are following and listening to the right ones. Don't get fooled by, again, Mark 36857932 on Twitter. All right. Let's hop into everything here. We got a ton to go over, and I've been talking for 40 minutes, and I thought in no way, shape, or form was that going to happen. Yet here we are. Okay, let's talk about I Am Athlete. I got a couple clips I want to share. We'll talk about them. I want to give you my thoughts. First things first with the whole I Am Athlete. What did they cut all the Tua stuff out? I don't get it. They cut out all the Tua stuff. You tell me what that what sense does that make? Like, you tell me. Christ almighty. Brett, do I ever talk to Paul and Kat on the Fin side? Yeah, I've talked to those guys. I've had Paul on a few shows before. All right. So let's talk about. We got a few things we want to talk about here. Okay, so I want to talk about, a part where he's talking about, building a culture. Then I want to talk about the firing and the tanking. We'll say that for last. And I want to talk about the timing of the lawsuit. So let's talk about, um, the timing of the lawsuit and such with Brian Flores here. I think
Why the timing of it, and it was just
Listen, if someone is confident but they know their stuff, to me that is an arrogant. That's you're just confident in what you know and you dug in. Like I know Travis Wingfield knows his stuff and I know he's confident in his ability. That doesn't make him egotistical. All right, let's talk about this. So let's get into this.
a question about why the timing of it, and it was the
Are out
start
here eating a plate of food.
Black History Month, and you open it up with I think it was a Martin Luther King quote. Why file it at that moment when you're a finalist for two of the jobs that are open?
I thought there was power in filing it right then, and the timing of it was, I won't say it was coincidental, because I think everything happens for a reason. I thought there was power in the world knowing that I was going to put all of it on the line. That's how important this is to me, and that's how important it is to a lot of people, a lot of people that I don't know. And generations moving, behind me, behind us, that I probably, I won't get to.
I like you, Larry. That's
There
all that
was
matters.
a point there where, I went back and forth. I know what I'm risking. I know what I may be sacrificing, but there was a point there where, I'm talking to my wife and saying, I'm not gonna be able to live with myself if we don't file this lawsuit. I'm gonna have so many regrets, not because of me, but because of everyone that comes behind me. So that's why.
Okay, so I got to give props where props are due. When you hear that explanation from Brian Flores, that is a very good answer as to why he did file on the beginning of Black History Month, and I agree with his reasoning. I don't hate on it at all. You know what I mean? Like I don't hate on it. Now, could he have different ulterior motives behind the scenes? Sure. I don't know that though. I can't sit down with Brian Flores or a family member and say, yo, what's really up? I'm just talking about that specific answer. It's a very good answer. I got to give him props. He played the PR game very well right there. Thank you, Larry. I love you, bro. You need to take back Saturdays. I miss my Saturdays. That like I'm not hating on Flores for that answer. I think that was a very good answer. If let me say this, that's a good answer. If that answer is truthful, all right? If that answer is truthful, then I respect Flores for that answer. If that answer is truthful, I respect him for that answer. Let me put it that way. So let me try and appease everyone on that one, because I know you got to walk a fine line. Listen, guys, I've told y'all, I'm on record. I believe the majority of the stuff in his lawsuit. Now, I think it was a douche move to do what he did to Lovie Smith. I'll call it what it is. And I think he was lying through his teeth in the clip we saw about Tua. Now, funny enough, they edited all the Tua stuff out of this I Am Athlete interview, which I'll never understand why. Maybe that was just to draw us in. I don't know. But I will say this. If that was a truthful answer and that was an honest, forward answer from Flores, which I can only assume it was, then I respect the hell out of that answer. And that's a very good answer. And that is a very good reasoning as to why you filed at the beginning of Black History Month. You got to give credit. You got to be objective in everything. Even if you don't like people or like things, you still got to be objective. That's still your job, is to be objective if you're a content creator or you think you matter on Twitter or Facebook or whatever, or Instagram. All right. Let's look at what he said about building culture specifically.
Why you laughing?
We're not gonna go ahead. Are we gonna go ahead?
I ain't gonna.
You want to get messy? You go ahead. Get messy.
Me too.
Oh man, damn.
Yeah, me too.
No, I was just gonna say I played for the Dolphins, so I know some people. You know what I'm saying? And I
Tell them, Brandon.
It wasn't too long I was suiting up. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of dudes that we watched on TV that were my teammates, or I played with, or I played against. And one of the things that people said during that year was, in the locker room, the guys in the locker room said they had so much respect for you because they knew you got. Coach, I'm gonna be honest, man. Y'all sucked. But they said, they said the start of the year, they cut vets. And for you to go out there and give it your all the way you did.
Yeah, and build.
That's where, to me, the guys said that's when you gained a lot of respect for a lot of guys in the locker room.
I mean, when you're trying to build, you can't build a winning culture and be trying to lose. You just can't do it. Right. You just can't do it. And you can't gain respect and, traction on a team if that's what's going on. I firmly believe that, and there's no other way to operate, my opinion.
I mean, he's telling y'all the truth. I mean, that's right. I mean, you're going to lose whatever guys in that locker room that matter, elite players, veterans. If they're in that locker room and you're telling them, we got to lose, they're not going to want to play with you, especially in your first year. That's like a death sentence for any coach. But let's be honest, at the sense, Ryan Fitzpatrick is the reason we won 5 games. Okay, not Brian Flores. Because here's the thing. After that Pittsburgh game, I think we were all pretty much convinced going into half we were tanking after the defensive play calling against the Pittsburgh Steelers and how that whole game was handled. I mean, it was pretty good. It was a pretty good assumption to say the Dolphins were tanking at that time. So let's not sit here and act like, we were doing a lot of things that winners do. And I do agree, like, you got to win to build the culture, obviously. But, I mean, that goes without saying. But in the same sense here, let's not act like we are working some serious magic. The only magic that was being worked was Fitz magic. Fitz led the team in passing and rushing. 2 areas. And he's in his late 30s. And he's a journeyman quarterback. That was who everyone was following in the locker room. Because they still talk about his leadership in the locker room. And we're heading into the second season now without him, and they still talk about his leadership in the locker room. That's who people were following. That's who everyone rallied around, was Ryan Fitzpatrick. Let's call a spade here. Ryan Fitzpatrick was the catalyst to whoever was in that building buying in after 2019. All right, let's get into the whole firing and tanking situation.
In my opinion, he was fired because he did not make Steve Ross comfortable.
Oh, he didn't play his game.
But Coach said that.
He didn't play his game. You got to talk their talk. If you don't talk their talk or play their game, what do they do?
I mean, that's exactly why. My opinion. Like, if I feel like something's wrong, I'm going to talk about it. You're going to hear from me. And there were some things that happened there that I simply wouldn't do.
Well, Coach,
that's the reason why.
I like to get messy on the show. That's a common theme. You got X versus Z, you got Ultra
No
versus Science, and then you got B Marshall to get messy. What was some of those things? That's my Barbara Walter. That's my Barbara Walter. What was some of those things, Coach?
I wouldn't lose games on purpose.
Ooh.
Play their game.
Which I thought cost you Joe Burrow.
And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that because I would never disrespect the game like that. And a lot of people may feel differently. You may feel differently.
You're about to show some shade at Omar.
But, the game's done a lot for me. Maybe it hasn't.
Absolutely.
Maybe it hasn't done as much for you.
That
as
was
for me,
no question. 2019 was supposed to be a tank season to get a good quarterback.
Here comes Dojo.
You got a good quarterback.
Yeah, Ocho! Yeah!
No, it was supposed to initially be for Tua, but the best quarterback, in hindsight, was Joe Burrow, who just took a team to the Super Bowl. To get that number 1 pick, you had to lose against the Cincinnati Bengals. Y'all won in overtime. It messed
Absolutely.
up.
You wanted to win that game, or you?
I'm always going to
He
win.
absolutely
Because-
won.
Absolutely, I won.
Omar, you talk about it. I mean, you've been covering the Dolphins for
100%.
how many years?
14.
14 years. You talked about like the Cincinnati Bengals was like, yeah.
They wanted to lose, and you wanted to win. And
I don't.
yeah, you.
I wouldn't been either.
I don't.
But
I'm not upset about wanting to win. I don't think our players in that locker room and the people. I mean, there's a lot of people in that building who work extremely hard for the opportunity to win, and that's I'm not going to bend on that one ever.
Well, I think this is interesting. You've been covering sports. You've been covering the Dolphins for so many years. So you're telling me that you're okay with losing?
That was the 2019 tank season. You were supposed to be bad to ensure that you got a quarterback that could change the trajectory of the franchise. Yeah. This is before he even got hired.
Right.
This was laid in place. And that's one of the questions I have for you. Because the conversation had to come up during the interview process about what the plan was.
It must have.
You go through the season.
Oh, yeah, and he smirks.
I know there's things that you can't say, but you go through the season, and you're claiming guys on Tuesday, starting them on Sunday. And this year I talked to you, and you were like, there's no way you can really do that and put yourself in a good position to win. But you did it all year in 2019. Mm-hmm. So
we found a way to win some games there.
Yeah.
So much so that people are angry about it. Look, to me, that was a challenge, a coaching challenge for me. I love challenges. And we probably should have won a couple more games in 2019. I'm never going to walk into a game expecting to lose. I walk into every game expecting to win.
You knew it was a rebuild.
Win at everything.
And a rebuild comes with a teardown.
And being a father, and I try to impart that on my players. You just
now you can try to win with the teardown.
Who goes down? Like, I'm going to go down swinging, and I'm always going to fight to win. And that's the example.
Fitz won the 5 games
to give our players.
Fitz is the reason why we don't have
anyone who's
Burrow
who comes into my circle. And for those who want to lose, they'll be outside of the circle.
Omar, I don't know of any player that is going to sign up for losing. You know what I'm saying? There's no way.
I don't know any coach who's going to sign up for losing either. Yeah. It's so disrespectful to the game that I love, that we love. It's hard to even talk about.
My thing is, tanking is part of the NFL and the NBA culture. It's not surprising to people that teams have tried to be bad so they can get Andrew Luck, or so they can get Joe Burrow, or so they can Trevor Lawrence, or LeBron James.
Is it really tanking if they really are just bad in general, based on those teams that they have to play against?
I think they just put things in their way that make it a lot more difficult.
It's a great challenge. It's a challenge. Let's see if we can, put something in the way, and we'll bust through that, and can find a way to win anyway.
That's the one thing I will say I respected about you, even though you didn't exactly follow through with the tank. I mean, when the ball got kicked off on Sunday, you were trying to win. There was no doubt or debate in it. Like, whoever
to think of it any other way is just baffling to me, and it's something I would never even be a part of.
Okay, so basically, so here's the thing. First of all, smash that like button. Almost 500 of you in the room. Subscribe if you're new. First of all, Rome is 110% right. The Colts tanked twice and got 2 Hall of Fame quarterback talents. Ding, 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 ding. Okay. Number 2, we all know that discussion came up that, hey, we're going to tear this thing down and we're going through a rebuild. We know he at least had a tear down and rebuild discussion. Okay. Now, again, they gave him. I truly believe that no matter how hard he coached, if he did not have Fitz, we would have won 2 or 3 games. We would have won 2. It was Ryan Fitzpatrick. That's why we won as many games as we did. Now, I get what he's saying. It's a challenge. I'm still going to coach the hell out of them. I agree he probably did that. I don't think he's lying. But I think he knew it was a rebuild, a teardown and a rebuild, 110%. I think he knew he was being given a bunch of jabronis. And the thing is, the jabronis rallied around Ryan Fitzpatrick and they won games. So really, if you want to blame anyone for us not having Joe Burrow or whoever, blame Ryan Fitzpatrick. Because guess what? Ryan Fitzpatrick didn't want them drafting a quarterback. He wanted to stay in Miami. He wanted to be the guy. So that guy played his ass off. And I 110% agree that players and coaches don't want to lose, but GMs and owners and people connected to them are going to do their best jobs to put them in a situation where they'll lose anyways, no matter how. Listen, you can coach a turd to be a gold nugget, but 10 times out of 10, the turd ain't going to turn into a gold nugget. All right? Let's be honest here. It's actually Fitz's fault we don't have Burrow. It's not Flores' fault. Like, think about it. If they would have given him, imagine if they only gave him Jake Ruddick. Imagine if his only option for that season was, we drafted Jake Ruddick. We want to see what we got. Play Jake Ruddick out this year. It can all be tied back to Fitz. 2019, just start Jake Ruddick and say, hey, we're rolling with Ruddick. And Alex is right. Rosen was enough for that. You could have just started Josh Rosen in 2019, and we would have went 1-15 anyways. There you go. Rome Gray says Nathan Peterman. Boom. There you go. Give Flores no quarterback, but Fitz put the team on his back. Players believed in him. He was our leading rusher, our leading passer. What do you want? We won games. Blame Fitz or whoever made the decision to bring Fitzpatrick in. There you go. I've given you options. Blame one of those two people. Combined effort. Michael Pulisic, I was complaining about Jacoby Brissett. I hated Jacoby Brissett. I thought he was terrible in Indianapolis. You heard no complaints because those people who weren't complaining had never watched him in Indianapolis. If they had, they would have been complaining. But I'm just saying, if we're going to go down the Burrow rabbit hole, that's who you blame. But, I mean, can we even go down there? So, I mean, it is what it is. I don't know what to say. I'm not going to lose sleep over it. We got 2 of this year. If it doesn't work out, we got 2 first-round picks next year. Let's see what we got. Sticking with Omar Kelly, he said something very interesting on Twitter. Someone asked him, is most of the cap room going to be spent on re-signing our own guys? I don't have a clue, but I know it's going to be a total makeover from what I'm hearing. So does this mean a guy like Durham Smythe is going to be out? Does this mean Mike Gesicki? They're not going to pay him? Does this mean Ogba's not going to get paid? Total makeover. Obviously, Jesse Davis will not be back. Does this mean Devontae Parker's days are numbered? Will Mac Hollins return as one of the better gunners in the NFL? He's a free agent. Duke Johnson, does this mean the end of Duke Johnson? Because I know a lot of people were loving Duke Johnson in Miami. Now, I've told y'all Gaskin and Ahmed make more, and Philip Lindsay make more sense in this scheme that we're headed towards than Duke Johnson does. Because this person specifically asked, is most of the cap room going to go back to re-signing our own guys? No, it's going to be a total makeover from what I'm hearing. Cliff D, no, Burrow wouldn't have taken us to the Super Bowl because they had the 22nd best offensive line in the NFL. We had the 32nd. And we do not have a Tyler Boyd or a T. Higgins behind Jalen Waddle, and we do not have a Joe Mixon. Hell, we don't even have a CJ Usama in the red zone this year. So no, Burrow would not have taken us to the Super Bowl. That is a lazy take. You cannot, football does not work with like that. You did not just plop someone over here and there and you get the exact same results unless a team is built similarly. So Omar Kelly, he says it's going to be a total makeover. Zachary would. Here's the thing too. You know, I'm praying. Hold on, let me see here. You know, I pray that someone brings up the offensive line issues, you know, and compares them with Tua and Burrow, because that will just tell me that they don't watch football and they don't know what they're watching, right? So Burrow would not have been alive because we allowed more pressures than the Cincinnati Bengals. Yet Burrow has an issue with hot reads and identifying free blitzers, and he holds on to the ball real long. So he takes a lot of unnecessary hits, whereas Tua does not take as many unnecessary hits. But again, the film will shows that. People need to watch film. So, but people don't watch film. They don't know anything. So what do we do to them? We say, into the unknown. Bye-bye. So yeah, total makeup from what Omar Kelly is hearing regarding I'm going to assume that he's talking about the offense. NFL.com came out with a recent article, and they gave final grades to every team's draft class of the 2021 season. And they actually ended up giving the Miami Dolphins an A- draft. I mean, you know, look at even Robert Jones, even though he only played a couple snaps, he even made the notable undrafted free agent. But A-, imagine if Eichenberg was good. Imagine if Hunter Long didn't get hurt early on and had a chance to give us more this season. Imagine if Jared Dokes was given a chance. I mean, could have easily been an A+. No? So, NFL.com showing Chris Greer a little bit of respect and a little bit of love. And it's crazy that you sit here and they talk about, you know, in total, they talk about eight picks if you want to count Robert Jones as the undrafted free agent, yet only 3 of them are worth talking about, really. Rolly asks, what's up with Kirk Merritt? Kirk Merritt is now a New Orleans Saint, my friend. So we don't know if Liam Eichenberg is good or bad, needs coaching. Liam Eichenberg's a little bit more than coaching. Like Jackson, you can see he's got the athletic traits and profile where coaching matters. Eichenberg has trait issues, i.e., Eichenberg doesn't have quick feet. Eichenberg has he doesn't have quick feet at all. He does not have a good anchor, which that is him again. And his arm length is a serious issue. And his lack of athleticism is a real issue when he goes up against athletic guys who will arc him out wide. So The issues with Eichenberg are more player profile trait issues than they are technique and coachable issues. Again, film, studying, evaluations. That's what the issue is right now. Eichenberg is more of a trait issue. He is not a technique and fundamental issue, though those aren't that great to begin with, but that's not his main issues. All right? He's 6'6", 302 with no anchor. Very, very short arms. 32 and 32 and 3/4 or 32 and a half inch arms. Okay, that's a big issue. He's got very slow feet, and he's not very athletic. That's what the issue is with him. Those are the things that are wrong with him. That's why a guy like Austin Jackson, who fundamentally and technique-wise is not very good, can still make sense with coaching and can still make something of himself of coaching in this scheme, because he's already shown you some of his strengths are pulling in the screen game, stuff that you got to be athletic to do. Now he just needs to build his anchor. That'll come down to him. That's not on the coaching. That'll come down on his training regimen and how much work he puts into getting stronger. And then the fundamentals and the technique, that's where he really lacks, and that's where they can coach him up. So he's a guy that can be coached up, I believe. And that's why I think he might stick around, because of his athletic profile. So, all right, continuing on. I got a couple other things I wanted to get in here. So there was an article on Bleacher Report, and it was talking about ideal offseason trade scenarios for every NFL team. And it said the Miami Dolphins trade for Christian McCaffrey. New head coach Mike McDaniel is going to be expected to transform the Miami Dolphins offense. If he's going to do that, it would be a bad idea to get it wouldn't be a bad idea to get a transformative talent like Christian McCaffrey. McDaniel comes from the Kyle Shanahan coaching tree, which means he can get production from hidden gems types at running back. But McCaffrey isn't just a running back. He's an offensive weapon. Everyone knows how I feel about McCaffrey. I think when he's healthy, he's one of the best players in the NFL. When healthy, McCaffrey is the league's most well-rounded back. The last time we saw him healthy, he had 116 catches for more than 1,000 yards and 19 total touchdowns. Despite injuries that forced him to miss 10 games last season, he still averaged 4.5 yards per carry and 8.4 yards per target. That's a yard more per carry than Myles Gaskin and more than double his yards per target. The offensive line needs a lot of work, but that can be addressed through the draft and free agency. There are no options like McCaffrey through the draft or free agency. There's no disputing that McCaffrey is one of the league's most versatile weapons. However, he's only played in 10 games over the past 2 seasons and has $44 million left on his contract. Joe Pearson of The Athletic reported the Panthers will listen to offers this offseason. The Dolphins will have plenty of cap space, so taking on McCaffrey's contract, which carries a cap hit of at least $13.6 million over the next 4 seasons, wouldn't be a problem. Listen, everyone knows how big of a fan of Christian McCaffrey I am. No, I'm not paying Christian McCaffrey $13.5 million right now with where his body's at. He would need to restructure his whole deal. And I would not for where his body's at. Everyone knows how much I love Christian McCaffrey, but I'm not flirting with $14 million a season when I might only get 10 or 12 games a season from you. I would not touch him at this stage. Now, if you would have talked to me 2 or 3 years ago, I would have probably taken him. But that's a lot of money over the next 4 years. $44 million over the next 4 years. I just, where his body's at, it's very concerning. Now, if he's willing to restructure and I can get him for like a 4th or a 5th, and I can restructure him till he's like a $8 or $9 million hit with incentives, let's talk. And I only got to give up a 4th or a 5th. Cool. I'm down. And I can take some years off. So maybe instead of 4 years, I turn it into $8 million plus incentives for 2 years. And I'm giving you a 4th or 5th round pick, I'll talk to you. But I'm not giving a 1st, 2nd, or a 3rd and paying this guy at his cap hit right now. There is too much tread on that tire. And, it's not like the Shanahan system absolves running backs from injury, let's be honest. So, personally, I'm good on that. Rich V, Sincere McCormick is one of my favorite running backs in this class. So I'm good. I'm just chilling. I don't need to go there. You know what I mean? But I would need a restructure, and it would need to be a late day 2 or a day 3 pick. Actually, hold on. It wouldn't even be a day 2. I'd need to give you a day 3 pick. Yeah, scratch that. So I'd need a restructure on money, and I'd need a day 3 pick is all I'd be willing to give you. And I don't know if you'd get them for that. I don't imagine people are going to be banging down the door. They're really smart. They try to put him in a Watson package. All right. Interesting article here from Marcel Lewis-Jock. And it said the Miami Dolphins were supposed to contend for the AFC East title in 2021 after winning 10 games in 2020. Instead, they missed the playoffs for the 5th straight season in disappointing fashion. The team fired coach Brian Flores and hired 49ers offensive coordinator Mike McDaniel, ushering in an innovative era, as owner Stephen Ross puts it. We'll look forward to him working with us and general manager Chris Greer in creating a team that will win Super Bowls, Ross said. First, we got to start winning our conference games and our division games and hopefully get to the Super Bowl. Miami has north of $60 million in salary cap to work with this offseason, most of which should be spent on retaining its free agents and adding premier players to its offense to support Tua Tagovailoa, who enters make or break 3rd season. From there, it's McDaniel's show. He's been described as an innovative play caller, known for building outside the box. That's a good thing for the Dolphins with the Bills and the Patriots in the division. So Mike Gesicki. So we got a projected cap space of $61.3 million. Mike Gesicki, Emmanuel Ogbah, Nick Needham, and Mac Hollins top they top the list of free agents we have available. And then potential cut candidates they have listed here as Jesse Davis. And the big question, how will Miami optimize the cap space? Offensive tackle Taron Armstead, receiver Chris Godwin, maybe even receiver Devontae Adams. It's wishful thinking, but the Dolphins have an enticing amount of cap space and should be big spenders after narrowly missing out on a playoff spot in 2021. There are a few big name free agent names at tackle, which is their biggest need, and marquee playmakers at wide receiver as well. There's also the matter of Pro Bowl cornerback Xavier Howard, who will want a restructured contract and pay raise this offseason. With a strong free agency and draft, the Dolphins can catapult themselves into the next tier in the AFC. Best case offseason scenario, Miami lands a marquee offensive tackle and high-end wide receiver or manages a trade for Atlanta receiver Calvin Ridley. It also re-signs Howard, Ogbah, Needham, and Hollins to keep the core of its defense and special teams intact. Worst case scenario, the cream of this year's free agent crop isn't sold on McDaniel, and the Dolphins fail to sign a difference maker. They also lose out on Ogbah and forced to trade Howard after failing to reach an agreement. Oh my God, that'd be a nightmare. Early look at the NFL draft from ESPN analyst Jordan Reed. Putting Tagovailoa in an environment to succeed should be a priority in the 2022 draft. Adding another wide receiver and continuing to add protection for him are likely scenarios. The Dolphins could also look to build up the defensive line. So they only have 3 top needs, and they give you the top pick right there. So, the question is, are they going to surround Tua with the weapons he needs to be successful right now? And ESPN's little preseason outlook right there, not very in depth. And they only named a few guys. I wanted to show you it because an interesting number in there was the cap space. Guys, you might be wondering, why are they down to $61.3 million in cap? Well, that's because last year's free agency class has come off the top right now. So it's going to be interesting. Tomorrow night, I'm going to be doing players that they should cut and keep, as well as their top needs heading into free agency. And we'll take a look at the cap after I've cut the people I want to cut and such. All right. And then I'm shooting for Thursday or Friday. I'm going to be bringing you my top 10 free agents video. All right. So that's what we're going to be looking at this week heading forward. And then I'm going to have another show sandwich in between there somewhere. So the cap right there, 61.3 million is what we're working with right now. All right. Continuing on here for a sec. Let's bring this up. All right. So the Dolphins still managing to enter Monday Morning Quarterback as well as Football Morning in America. So right here it says, this is in Albert Breer's Football Morning in America. Monday Morning Quarterback. I apologize. And it asked about why is Roger Goodell getting another extension? Well, have you seen the numbers? He said, while we are there, the Broncos are for sale, and it sure looks like the futures of Dolphins owner Stephen Ross and Commanders owner Dan Snyder could be subject to further review soon, with how freely Goodell spoke last week about rules to oust owners. What's interesting about the timing of it, gambling money is goosing the value of NFL franchises. So this probably isn't an appropriate time to sell the team. So he's telling you right there, the interesting thing about Goodell and the NFL talking about it is with NFL franchises going up in value right now, owners don't want to sell because they're just increasing. But if they're coming out here and they're talking about owners potentially ousting owners, that tells you there might be something serious at play behind the scenes, as it seems. So interesting stuff that now this is even making Monday Morning Quarterback on Sports Illustrated. I'm telling you, the NFL is putting this out there and all these different outlets because something is going on. I don't know what it is, but they know something. And it seems to me like they're worried about whether they can keep it quiet or not. Because it seems like this is consistent with PR getting out ahead before the damage hits. Could be wrong, but that's what I'm getting, and that's the sense I'm getting. Now, two last things here. We also made Football Morning in America by Peter King, but it was a little bit more positive. It was about Mike McDaniel. It said, Mike McDaniel, the story of the new Dolphins coach is usually a story about Deebo Samuel. How McDaniel, the 5'9", 165-pound former Yale wide receiver, climbed the ladder from unpaid coaching staff intern Gopher in Denver in 2005 to the exclusive 32 coach fraternity is instructive. In fact, it says everything about McDaniel. Looks far more like a Geico account executive than one of 32 NFL leaders of men. So McDaniel began. Deebo, we, the 49ers coaching staff, had him on our team at the Senior Bowl the January before we got him to the Super Bowl. We had a saying from Mobile to Miami because the Super Bowl was in Miami that year with our players. And we actually did it. He started calling me his favorite coach then. I don't really know why. We're always close and whatever. This past season, I had a talk with him in the offseason. I was meeting with Brandon Ayuk and Deebo at 6 a.m. every day during training camp because he needed them to step up. I asked Deebo, are you the best player on the offense? He was like, yeah. I said, the time is now. Do you really want to be great? Greatness is hard. That's why it's great. It's not easy. It's a burden, really. McDaniel told Samuel, as the best player on the offense, he needed to be more of a leader. Immediately, he saw Samuel shift uncomfortably, like, that's not me. Don't ask me to be that. No, McDaniel said, being a leader isn't what you say. It's what you do. Be the best student in the classroom. Work the hardest in practice. Give more at everything. Give more effort at everything. You know those days you feel like crap, McDaniel said? Everybody else does too. Those are the days you got to ask for more of yourself and show more of yourself. Then I gave him a quote that he still says to me today. I said, if you do that every day and stay healthy and take care of your body and all that extra leg work that all the true great ones do, at the end of the season, you'll be first team All-Pro and you'll make me a head coach. 2021 All-Pro receivers, Devontae Adams, Cooper Kupp, Deebo Samuel. 22 head coach, Miami, Mike McDaniel. There was another part of the Deebo maturation development. No player in my career has ever bothered me on a Tuesday, McDaniel said. But last season, every Tuesday around noon, Samuel would come into McDaniel's office, sit on his couch, and in the midst of game planning crunch time, Samuel would wait for McDaniel to have a break in between tape or conversations with other coaches on staff. McDaniel would stop what he's doing for maybe a half hour, 45 minutes, and turn to Samuel to talk about that week's plan and what role he'd play. McDaniel's imagination and Samuel's study practice habits and athleticism combined to make Samuel the most dangerous weapon in the league. Prior to Week 10 against the Rams, when Mike McDaniel started feeling good about Samuel's knowledge for the run game, McDaniel started building regular run snaps in the game for Samuel. In Samuel's next 5 games, he ran at 5.8, 6.8, and 6 times, with 3 rushes over 25 yards and 6 rushing touchdowns. Samuel had become a dual-threat player at the highest level. Each week, I'd like to add one new type of run so he wouldn't have to learn too much, but the defense hadn't seen it, McDaniel said. By the end of the season, he could do almost every type of run that running backs could do. That's how McDaniel plans to coach the Dolphins. You set the vision for somebody and you go and make it happen, he said. That's why the 2022 Dolphins should be fascinating to watch. Wow. See, this is what I talk about when I said now we're bringing teachers in. Now we got teachers. Look at this. This man made Deebo great. And Deebo made him even better. They made each other great. Working as a collaborative effort, in unison, hand in hand, they made each other great. So, you can only imagine what him and Wall are going to do. What a great story. We got a teacher. Finally. Interesting tweet I saw today, too, by the way. 3 key reasons why NFL said Jimmy Graham was tight end, not wide receiver. He identified as a tight end on social media. He did 3 roles of tight end, run, pass, block, route running, and defenses covered him like a tight end. Mike Gesicki identifies as a big slot receiver, just 11 pass blocking snaps in 2021, and primary coverage defender against Mike Gesicki this year was a cornerback. So, puts it in perspective why Mike Gesicki might get labeled as a wide receiver if this team wants to franchise tag him or go to arbitration or whatever. And finally, guys, Tua back at it with Perform today, putting in the work, getting it in. Tua with the medicine ball, letting it rip. Tua working on the footwork, getting better with the foot. Love it. Let's go, baby. Let's go, baby. Let's go get it. Let's go get it. I'm excited. Can September get here already, please? All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to be back tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, we're going to discuss the top needs for the Dolphins heading into free agency and players they should keep or cut. Who should stay? Who should they let walk? We're going to talk about that tomorrow, on as well as any news and notes that may come with that. But those will be the 2 main topics we're going to talk about tomorrow. And then on Thursday or Friday, I'm going to drop the top 10 free agents video. I'm aiming for Thursday, but it might end up being Friday. I'll keep you all posted. And then I'm going to have a show on the other day either way. So I'll be here Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday for y'all. And if anything breaks on Wednesday, I'll be back here. You already know what time it is. Guys, I appreciate each and every one of you spending some of your Monday night with me. Until next time, I appreciate each and every one of you. And y'all already know what time it is, baby. Fins up all day, every day. I'll see y'all tomorrow.